Okay, we'll get this webinar started. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel Lemmeltang, and welcome to this edition of the Optimizing Dealership Performance. Today will be a big focus on IRMA. Before we get started, as always, I would like to bring your attention to the Q&A area where you please feel free to ask any questions throughout the webinar. We'll do our best to answer them, but please keep in mind if we can answer them during the webinar, we will create a case and follow up with you because I have the name and the actual question. So we'll be creating cases if need be. So I want you to introduce our team. I'm Daniel Lemmeltang, the host, and also I have Mike G. Mike G is obviously our expert on IRMA, and he will be walking you through a few things. So let's see what the subject, the titles are. Today's topics include, we're going to go through a quick run through of the Knowledge Center, followed by installing IRMA and the Zebra TC21. We're going to look at some printer setups. We're going to look at generic receiving, and this will be done in a live demo. OEM receiving, parts counting, and how to perform a cycle count, tips and tricks for your year-end inventory. And finally, we have other uses for IRMA. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Mike, and please feel free again to use the Q&A section to run your to ask any questions. Go ahead, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Hi, everybody. This is going to be an interactive webinar. I'm going to be turning off and on my camera and sharing screen and actually showing you live action. So I'm going to start with the Knowledge Center. The Knowledge Center can be accessed through DealerVu actually by pressing F1 or typing in help.dealervu.com.
Okay, Mike,
yes?
Sorry, can you share your screen, please?
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. So you can access DealerVu by pressing F1 or actually typing in the web browser help.dealervu.com. So when you arrive to the Knowledge Center, you can toggle for French and English. You can also click here on Sign In the top right. So you sign in. If you're not signed up, click on Sign Up down here at the bottom. If you see my mouse, you click on Sign Up, you enter your full name, your email, and you will receive a login request by email. If it doesn't go in your inbox, it could be in your spam. That being said, you sign in, and you can actually go on your name at the top right, and you will see the requests that you sent in the past. So you can review these requests or answer questions via the portal. So when you do create these tickets, they're in real time. So as soon as you click submit, we actually get these tickets right away. Now you have topics down here. Every webinar that we host, we actually post them over here on the website, so you can view the previous webinars. Every time you click on the DealerVu logo, it takes you back to the home page. So if you're looking for IRMA documents, you can always type in IRMA. Or you can go into the parts and sales, and you have a whole bunch of documents for IRMA over here that you can actually view, and you can print them also. What I've done is I built a catalog. I'll show you. I'm going to share my screen in a few minutes, and let me share my screen. Okay. So what I did is I printed out a catalog like this. I put it in plastic pages, and I printed all the documents for a user. So you can consult these really quickly. You can put separators also. To print these pages, all you have to do is press on Control P, and you'll be able to print out the page. So this part is done for the Knowledge Center. So the next part is installing DealerVu or IRMA on the scanners. So you're probably familiar with this page that we use to install DealerVu client on your computers. But on this page, we also have a section a bit lower to install IRMA Android and AnyDesk. AnyDesk is what permits me to share my screen like I'm doing right now. So if you have support cases, I can connect to your scanner and help you out with the ticket. So it's really simple. You have to go to the address is normally your server name or the server IP /FCI DealerVu /install. So this we can provide to you by email or call you and help you. So once you're on this page, you click on Android over here. It's going to download the file. Now, it's already downloaded and installed, so bear with me over here. So you click on open and you click on install. I'm going to cancel it here because it's already there. So it's just step by step. In AnyDesk is the same thing here. You download, you keep, and you open and install. So AnyDesk is really good if you want to have better support with us. That being said, when you're licensing IRMA, you actually have to use the IP of your server. In my case, it's this. This is the IP, your company name, store ID, and get license. Printers have to be installed by us on your server in order for you to see the printers in the drop-down menu over here. Okay, so now to set up the printers, you select the printer. It's the same thing as on your desktop computer. So you select the proper printer that you want to use, the printer type, and the label type. Normally people use description, large price. Now, for print package quantity labels, if you turn this on, when you're receiving a package part, let's say, for example, the 11105, and there's 100 parts in there. If this is checked on and you scan to receive with IRMA, it's going to print out 100 labels. So I don't think you want to do that. So you turn that off. And depending of how you work at your shop, skip auto print on stocking. So when you're receiving, what that means is when you're receiving your parts and they're for stocking, if you skip auto print, you're not going to get a label that comes out automatically from the label printer. It's going to skip that label. But if you do want to have these labels printed, you remove this skip auto print on stocking. So this is fairly what you need to know about the settings. Now in DealerVu, we have a printing utility to print out your location bins. So all you need to do is go to Part Inventory, Tools, and Label Printing Utility. Once again, you have to select the proper printers. And you see here at the bottom, you have your location bins. So these are pretty handy to print, because what you can do or should do if you're using IRMA is you print out these labels. So if, for example, if I print one, this is what it looks like. So when you're actually using IRMA for location awareness, you scan the location and you scan your part and you assign the location to that part. I will show you afterwards how it works in real demo. Now, the trick over here is if you want to print like all your location bins, you click on the first one, you scroll down all the way down, and you press on Shift and select all and print. Or you do them one by one. you print one by one. You have the font size also. You can make them bigger and you print, and the label comes out bigger than it was before. So everyone has access to this utility, and I strongly suggest you use this and stick these on the shelves of your back store, or even in your showroom. I've done in the past set up in the dealership, even the mannequins had locations, mannequin 1, mannequin 2. Might sound weird, but it's actually pretty good to do because, for example, if you have apparel on those mannequins, and you have a pair of jeans, you have a t-shirt, you have a shirt over the t-shirt, and you have a belt, well, when you're searching in the store and you say you only have one belt left and you're looking for it, well, you'll see that it's on mannequin 1 or mannequin 2. So you can easily find your parts. And it's also good for when you're doing inventory. Okay, so we went over the printing utility. I'm going to show you the method I have when I receive. Dan, can you see the boxes in back of me properly? Okay.
Sorry, we can see, but I think you need to make the screen bigger, please.
The screen.
Like stop sharing your screen and put your video, please.
I can't stop sharing my screen and video. Oh, sharing the screen. Okay, sorry about that.
There you go. Much better.
Okay, thank you. So what I used to do, I have this system. Normally, you try to have the label printer as close as possible to the table. So you set up a nice table for receiving. So what I used to do, mind you, I had bigger boxes, but this is just for the demo. I always use the same sequence: service, parts, and stocking. Why? Is because when I start my receiving that I'm going to simulate in a few minutes, when I scan, label comes out. I know if it goes in service, in parts, or if there's no label, I put it in the stocking box. So obviously, bigger boxes, I put them on the floor or on a cart, and I take care of those afterwards. So to have a good system is this: to have the service box, parts, and stocking. When the service was full, I take the part box and bring it to my service department so they can sort them out right away, get a new box, and continue on the receiving. So you can basically go, if you're quick, you can basically scan 12 to 13 pallets in about 4 or 5 hours. And they're all placed in their location bins. So that's not a problem using this method. So I just showed you the example of my 3 boxes. Now I'm going to show you in DealerVu how to receive generic. So I'm sharing my screen again, and you go in parts purchase order, and then you go to the tools and receive.
Sorry, Mike, we're not seeing your screen right now.
You're not seeing my screen?
No. Did you select screen?
Delay.
There you go. Yeah, there's a delay.
Sorry about that. It was a delay. Okay, so when you go in receiving, you have the option for Harley-Davidson, BRP, and generic. I cannot receive on my demo for Harley-Davidson and BRP, but I can show you how to receive generic. And many dealers right now are using generic to receive the Harley-Davidson, because we will shortly in the next version, we're going to be removing, it's just a heads up, we're going to be removing the packing slips in the receiving because of the problems we're having with the packing slips. So what you do is, in the morning, what I used to do is prepare my scanner. When I arrive to the store, I download all my files, all my PDF files, and prepare the scanner for when the UPS guy or the Purolator guy comes in. So let me show you how I used to do this, or how you should do this. You get all your vendor invoices, and you start preparing the scanner. And it's really simple. So you enter the PO 25271. You select that PO and you input an invoice number, 240416 dash 1. Okay, so you have these 3 parts to receive. That one is ready. Then you take the next one, 25273. This one, that's a Harley Davidson one. Okay, I give it a fictional invoice number. I click save. I've used it before. And you click save. Then I go to the next one. So you can do this in the morning while you're having your coffee, you're relaxing, and doing this quietly, and you prep your scanner. And the last one. Sorry if there's many, it's redundant because I have different applications what I want to show you when I'm receiving. There we go, save. So now the scanner is ready for receiving. You see here, we've got these 4 draft invoices. And now I'm going to slide over the scanner itself. I'm going to show you what it looks like in the scanner. So if you go in the option over here for part receiving generic, you're going to select a vendor. Obviously, you have the parts in your hand, you know what vendor it is, hopefully. So anyways, in my case here, I'm going to start with the Motovan. I don't need to select a PO. If it has multiple POs, the part number you're going to scan is going to find the PO it belongs to. And if the same part is on multiple POs, the new IRMA Zebra will prompt you which PO do you want to use to receive. So let's start the receiving here. So I'm gonna continue sharing my screen. I'm gonna go slower so you can see what I'm doing in scanning and the behavior of the printers. So if I scan this one here, this is a Harley. I'm going to select Harley Davidson. So you can see on the scanner, label printer, what? Auto print label not defined. Oh. So I go in settings, printing, label type was off. So, okay. Now the label came out. You can see it came out with the part number, the parts invoice, the part and the customer. So what you do, normally I'm better organized than this because now I'm showing. So this is a part. I put in the parts box. Next one. I scan the next part. It belongs to Cynthia for service. I take the label. I put it on the box. This goes in service. This one here. This one again is for the service department. I put it on the box. And I've got another box over here. Okay, that's not a Harley. That's probably the Motovan. Yes, it is. So I select the Motovan vendor. I scan the part. This belongs to me. Oh, that's fun. So no, that's a part. So I put in the part. Scan this one. This, I put it to print, even if it's going into the stocking. So this is a stocking. If you look at the label, There's a normal label. You put it on the part and you put it in the stocking box. Another part, this is for stocking also. It does not print the, it printed the label, but there's no name. And there's the last one over here, also for stocking. So right now, you did all your receiving. I'm just gonna place this here to reorganize. So you completed the receiving in generic mode. So your next step, when you're in DealerVu, if you look at the screen over here, item scan is all 0. But if you hit refresh, 3 items, 2 items, 1 items, and now over here, there's a little problem here. I only scanned 1 part. That's because in my box, I only had 1 part. So what you need to do is to force it to complete, save, and the system will say it's going to create back orders. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. So what that does, it allows you to create the vendor invoice. You verify the dates, the price, and you stock. This allows you to go to the next step. So the next time, maybe tomorrow or the day after, you get another invoice from Motivan with the 4 missing parts. You can recreate that draft, add that PO, and receive with a new vendor invoice number the 4 other parts. So what you need to do for the other invoices is you create the invoice, because now this one is complete. So you create the invoice, the vendor invoice, and you stock them. Don't forget to check the dates and check the totals, because sometimes the price can be a little bit different. So you save. So you see now you have 2 complete and 2 posted. You double click on this one again, it's completed. You can create the vendor invoice. And this vendor invoice, you're going to recognize it's the same as what you normally do via, if you click on the PO and you create the vendor invoice, it's exactly the same, except on the IRMA side, it's a draft. Now you're going to notice here now it's in blue. The fonts are in blue. I'll explain to you, this is a new feature. It's because everything that when it's in blue, the font, it's because they're packaged parts. Because in the description, it's not always written that it's a packaged part. In this case, it is, but it's just like a little flag for you to notice that you're receiving packaged part. So you put this to stock and you save.
Mike?
Yes?
Hi, I have a quick question here from Don.
Yes?
He's saying, why are we able to choose which PO to assign a scan part for in generic, but not in OEM? I didn't want to necessarily reply to that without maybe getting your confirmation. So in
Because
OEM,
well, OEM, you're just receiving Harley.
yeah, that's what I figured. I figured the imported invoice generates what PO
Yeah.
it belongs to. Okay.
Yeah, because in the OEM, it's the Harley Davidson receiving. It's called OEM, but it's Harley Davidson receiving.
So
That's why. Because when you're importing your invoices, if you're a Harley dealer, the OEM, it's either the Harley or the BRP. That's why.
yeah. Okay. Right. Sorry about that. I just wanted to get an answer.
Oh, it's okay. That's what I'm here for. I like these questions. Now we have the last one to receive. So once again, you create the invoice, because don't forget, at this stage here, okay, these are draft invoices. They are not in your inventory. You scanned, they're in the invoice draft, but they are not in your inventory until you create invoice and you stock them. Once you click stock, Now it's in the inventory, not before. It's important also to change your date filters over here. Oh, and let's say you can backtrack a few months. So you go one and make sure you don't have any completed, like this one here. There's a completed invoice here. It was never stocked. So you're selling this part probably short sale, or someone received it manually. So you have to investigate and make sure that did not happen. How to investigate? You open, you right click, show part details, and you're going to see in the order history if it has been received. If not, then you need to receive it and create the vendor invoice and stock it. So it's important to keep an eye on this because it's easy to forget. You're scanning, someone comes to see you, you go on fixing another issue or whatnot, and you forget to stock it. It happens. So it's always good to backtrack with your dates and go see if there's any unfinished or unposted invoices. Now the name posted here in the next version is going to be changed to finalized because it's confusing a bit. Posted, we think that we did the receiving and it's posted. So I had the wording changed to finalized. When you see finalized here, it means that the vendor invoice was created. If you don't see finalized, it means that you have to create the vendor invoice in DealerVu. Okay, so we went over the receiving for generic. Oh, there is a tool. I'm going to try to explain this. It's not easy to explain, but I'm going to try to explain. So it's called PO mapping. So you can do this in BRP or Harley Davidson. So I'll explain to you easily what it means. In a nutshell, IRMA is dumb. Okay, so let's say you receive a recall kit or an order that you place at the trade show. So the PO is normally like super long, and it doesn't exist in DealerVu. It's not a PO that exists in DealerVu. So what you do is you go to PO mapping, and you have to get IRMA a bit smarter. So what you do is you have to first create your real PO in DealerVu. You write it down. And let's say your PO that you got from the trade show or a recall kit, you call this recall 712, and the real PO that you just created or that is created is 18104. So when you're importing using the tool to import POs, and the import tool is going to see recall 712, it's 18104. It knows right away what PO it belongs to. It's like a redirection, like the title says, PO mapping. So you're telling IRMA what recall 712 is. It's not something you do often, but when you have those big orders from the trade shows, you can have $40,000 of parts on these. You don't want to create a PO by hand. So this is what you do, the PO mapping.
Sorry, Mike, I
Yes,
have
Dan?
another question here. I have another
Yeah.
question pertaining to a previous topic we just talked about from Dan Smith here.
Yes.
He said how to clear a complete OEM invoice if it has already been done manually. We cannot change the invoice number, so there's no way to start a second invoice in order to cancel it.
So it's already been received
Yeah, that's
manually.
what it says. Yeah.
Okay. There's not much you can do with it, except if you go here, it's just a draft, so it doesn't matter. It's just sitting there. So what I recommend to do is you can, now this one is posted, we can't really do it. Let me see if I can find older ones. 2023. See, I have a note here. Webinar. So you can add notes. So you can say, well, received manually, and you keep that note. These, they don't erase. They don't get erased. They just, like with the date, they disappear. There's no way you can delete these. So especially if you started receiving, but it doesn't matter. It's just a draft. Like I said before, if it's not finalized or posted, it's not in your inventory. So you can have plenty of these sitting there. Yes, Dan?
Oh, no, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Was that, was my reply, my answer good? Is that okay?
I think you covered it, but if there's any other follow-up questions, I'll let you know, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So now we've done some receiving. I didn't want to bore you with too many receiving because it's redundant. It's the same thing. But there's other tools on this scanner that are very handy. Location awareness, parts-free scan with or without location awareness. So I'm going to show you what that means and what it does. So I'm going to switch my boxes here. These are location bins. And that's enough. So you start off with your scanner. So on parts-free scan, without the location awareness at the bottom over here. So let's say you're cleaning up your shelves and you want to make sure your parts are in the proper location. So what you do, you add the location awareness, you scan. Now you see on the screen 3-tier. That's the location. So I'm going to scan the first part. That's in the right location bin. Now let's scan the other part. Let's see if it's in the proper location bin. I covered the I covered the label. Sorry about that. It's in the proper location. Hypothetically, this one goes in here. I take it out, I scan, wrong part location. You can either click in the location field here or on the pin at the bottom. So this is where you handle or manage all your location. So this one, it goes in here, press save. You can also delete locations. If you tap or hit the pin again, you can actually delete the old location, but I don't want to do that because I want to add another location. So now you go on the next shelf, you put your cursor on the location field, it completely erases, you scan the next location, and you scan this part because a single part can be in multiple locations. Wrong part location. So once again, you press on the pin, now you have 2 location bins. So you can say, yeah, it's in the other one also because you have too many and it's taking 2 shelves. So you say save. So, and that's in real time. Right away in DealerVu, this information is updated right away. It's in real time. Now, what I used to do after I receive, I have all these boxes here that were for service, parts, and stocking. These 2 I bring to the service department, but this one for stocking, I used to have a nice little cart. Once I'm finished receiving, I scan the part. That one has no location bin. So I go in my back store. Oh yeah, I'm going to put it in this box right here. Scan the box, scan the part, wrong part location, save. I just placed this part. I go back. I remove location awareness. I scan the part. That one goes in 3-tier and B320. That's where it goes. I continue with my cart, scan the next part for parts free scan. This one goes in 3-tier. The shelf is full. There's no more room. I'm going to put it in this one. I scan this box and I scan the part. I place it 3-tier, I delete it, and I save the next one, and boom, the part is in the proper location bin. So it's really handy to use this when you're placing your parts, because it's a real pet peeve when you have a customer at the counter and your location bins are not properly done. Use these scanners. You're going to save a lot of time and your customers are going to be happy. Because when you go in DealerVu and you print out your pick list and it says it's in 3-tier or 2-tier table, you want it to be there. And the customer wants it to be there too. So use this tool for that, for the location awareness. It's wonderful. You're going to love it. Now with this scanner, you can also use a wireless printer. I'll tell you why you should get one of these. So I'm going to switch in IRMA. I'm going to reopen this. I'm going to go in System Settings, Printing. I'm going to select the Wi-Fi. I don't recommend to use the Wi-Fi printer when you're receiving. Use one of these because the labels are a bit more expensive on this puppy. So you want to use this when you're doing price changes in your store. So you select this label printer and you walk the store. You go in your leather. That's where you lose a lot of money when it's the wrong price, because sometimes you have a $70 or $60 difference. So you go and you start scanning. Let's say this is leather. Ugly leather, but it's leather. So parts free scan, no location awareness. You scan 42, it's a good, proper price. You scan the next one. Oh, there's a price difference. Now I'm going to show you the printer. Press on the printing, and it prints out the label with the price. So you have 3 of them. You press 2 more times, and it's going to print out the other labels when you need them. So you put this on the box. You have a new price. Label comes out for the other one. You put it on the other piece of clothing, and you change your price. So these are very handy, but don't use them for receiving. Like I said, the labels are a bit more expensive. So you use this for the showroom when you're changing prices. If you need to know where to buy these, I can help you as usual, and you'll be able to get them fairly easy, and I can help install them also. So we went through location awareness without this. Okay, now, Dan, am I going too fast or it's okay? It's a good pace.
Yeah, it's a good pace, Mike. Thank you. There's a
Okay.
question here while we're talking.
Yes.
Is it, this is from Ariel. Is it possible to have the system save previous locations if a staff member forgets to save and have a way to backtrack without doing a memory game? So I'm assuming it has to do with if the autosave isn't on with location awareness. Is there a way to go back? I don't think there is.
If you deleted an old location and overwrite, is that what you mean? Overwrite
Yeah, I
it
think.
and all.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll keep this one. We'll shelve this one. Ariel, Mike G, or myself will call you after the session to kind of clarify a little bit. Okay, thank you. So, Mike, yes, you're going fine. If you want, yeah, you can keep going.
Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to show you part counting. So in DealerVu, you go in part inventory, tools, and part inventory count session. This is a pretty neat tool. So you have categories and sessions. Look at this like folders. The category is a folder, and the session is the actual file that you're putting in the folder. So if you're doing 2024 inventory, so you call that folder inventory 2024. So now you want to create a count session. You want to count parts to put in your inventory 2024. So you click new session. The category is inventory 2024 or vice versa, and you call that the parts session 1. You save. So in IRMA, it's good to keep the location awareness. I'll explain why afterwards. So if you go back to IRMA, parts counting, you scroll down, parts 1 is there. So you select parts 1 with the location awareness, and you start scanning this box. Oops, I exit out of there by error. Sorry about that. Parts 1, select. So you scan, and you start counting your part. So you have 5 of these. You scan it 5 times. You scan the 5 parts. And you will see that the total is changing. The total scan, now I scan 4. Now I scan 5. So if you look at your file over here, I'm going to put it on autosave and save. And if I refresh and go back to this file, part 1, there's 5 parts now. So if I scan another one, and it's on autosave, and the beauty of this, let me show you something here. When you're doing your inventory count, why I said use location awareness, look at the location, it's red. That's because it's in the wrong part location. It's the best time to actually put your parts in the right location. Sometimes you're missing a location. You're going through your inventory and, hey, this one doesn't have a location bin. You're scanning, you're touching every single part in your store. It's the best time to do your locations because there's always errors. There's always going to be. It's human nature. So what you do, you click here, save. So now you counted the part, and you put it in the proper location bin right away. So you won't search for that part later on. So what you do is you do all your location, all your counting, little tricks for those who have drawers. And you don't want to count this at the final day or the first day of the location. You want to prepare yourself. So what you should do is put a sheet of paper, let's say this drawer, you put all the labels of every single part. And you can put, for example, you pre-count 20, 15, 12, 2, and as the week goes, you take parts or you add parts, you update the quantities. So this nice little sheet of paper is on your drawer, and you're ready for your count. So when comes the D-Day, well, you scan the part, 12. You scan the part, 10. You scan the part, 2. So you input the part number, not the part numbers, but the quantities as you're counting at the same time. And you can also do the location awareness also at the same time. So on that sheet of paper, you put drawer 1, and you scan drawer 1, and you scan all your parts that are in there. So you can go through your small drawers for the small parts really quick. In about a couple of hours, you can go through all of those by preparing yourself for the inventory. So once the inventory is done, and rather than importing 5 or 6 files, you can merge these files. So to merge these, you click on merge. This is the target, the source. The target is this one. And I want to merge these three. You click OK. They're inactive. It's going to give me errors, but anyways, it merged. So you only have one inventory file to import in Percon. Now I'm going to show you cycle counts. What I used to do at the shop, I used to do cycle counts for my tires, for the oil, and for the batteries, because there's always errors. So what I would do is I create a new session, tires, with location awareness, and I'd save. Oh, it exists already. Tires 2424. There we go. So once again, I go in IRMA and I go on parts counting and I scroll down to tires 2424. I select. Now I'm not going to be counting tires, obviously, but let's say I'm counting this. I scan the table. I scan this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I scan this. 1. Oops. I forgot to put the autosave. So I save. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I count this. So let's say I counted all my tires in the store. Okay? So what I do is I go back to this file and I refresh. I'm going to see 6. I counted 2 unique parts, but there's 6. So now this is the fun part. So you click on Inventory Count Exception button. Okay, and you click on refresh. This one I'm missing 21, and this one I'm over 4. So what do you do with that? If it's a big list, you print out your list, you open the parts 6260007, and you do a parts adjustment. Same for the 4083-1515, you do a manual part adjustment. So in this list over here will only appear the ones that have errors in the quantities. So if you have 80 parts, 80 different parts, but there's only 3 errors, you're only going to see 3 on this report. So I suggest you do these cycle counts every 2-3 weeks. And once you start doing those, you're going to have a really nice inventory, especially for the fast moving. So I talked about this, the fast moving. Now, I'm going to show you a nice little project, a winter project, what I used to do also. You know, we all have these takeoff parts that we have that are not in the inventory and you cannot find them. They're in boxes somewhere in the basement or the mezzanine, or in some cases, even in a container outside. So what you can do, or even you're putting away your winter stuff or vice versa, you can create projects in boxes with this. So what I used to do, or what you can do, is create a session called box 1, box 2, box 3, or whatever, container 1 or container 2. And what you do is in these boxes, so this is box 2, this is box 1, and those, they're not in the inventory. They're not there. They don't exist. The parts exist, but they're not in your inventory. But how are you going to sell these parts? You don't know if you have them. So I'm going to show you how to manage these and to be able to sell them. So I'm going to select, I'm going to go here with the scanner again and select box 1. In box 1, what do I have? I'm going to put this on autosave. I'm going to scan this. I only have 3 parts in this box. They're very small parts and very small boxes. So this part does not exist because my barcode is mushy. Okay, so I have these 3 in the box 1. Okay, so if I refresh this, I have 5 parts now. Non-stocked takeoffs. That's how I did the category, because I created a category called non-stock or takeoffs. So you have a customer that comes at the counter, okay, and asks for a part, but if you don't have it in your inventory, it's 0, but it's an obsolete part. You don't have that. So what you do is you go in here in your count sessions and you type in the number 83-1515. Where is it? It's in these 3 boxes. They're not in your inventory. They're in this non-stock box. So what do? You go downstairs or in the mezzanine, get this part, and you bring it to the customer and you sell it. So what's important to do is if it's sold, you delete it from the count session and you save. Like this, you're not going to search for the part again. If the customer, someone else comes in 6 months later, wants this part, you don't have it no more. It's not in any count session. Because if you don't manage or if you don't update these boxes, you might as well not do it. Because within 6 months, it's going to be a big mess. And you're going to be working for nothing. So it's very important to always update these boxes when you're selling these parts. Once again, they're not in your inventory, but you can find them. You can find the location bin also and where it is. So that's a nice winter project. If you need help, create a ticket. I'm going to be there to give you some pointers and tips on how to do that. So that covers, yeah, I don't think I forgot anything here, Dan. Winter projects, box.
Nope.
Covers,
there's one final question.
yeah,
In the thing right now, is it possible to change the look of the label? For example, remove the price and leave only the zebra, I'm assuming the barcode, and the part number. That's from Lisa.
of course. Yes. Let me show you. Let me bring back the scanner. So if you go into the part settings, in the settings over here, the printing, you select the label type, barcode and description. Okay, so let me just show you the differences. I'm going to select another printer. Printing, I'm going to use the IP printer. Okay. I'm going to remove location awareness. Okay. Print. Now let's change in the settings. Barcode only. My fingers are too big. Okay. Print. You can basically see these in DealerVu also. It's the same format as in DealerVu. So you can have the small price, large price, and so on and so forth, and you print. So this is basically what they will look like. They're hard to see, sorry about that. But you can change the label printing format on the scanner, same as in DealerVu when you're printing the label. In DealerVu, if you go to print a label, you can change over here. It's the same 6 formats, they're identical.
Yep. That answers it. She says thank you.
Perfect.
So great. So
any
otherwise,
other questions? No. It's the best time now.
Yep.
No other questions?
No, not right now. But feel free to leave them in the Q&A for the next couple minutes, and if not, please send up the support via the Knowledge Center. We'd be more than happy to help you. So in the meantime, Mike, I'd like to thank you for doing such an amazing job on this. I hope everybody got out a lot out of it like I did, and we look forward to upcoming webinars. So stay tuned, everybody. So thank you very much.